The day that every basement-dwelling NBA team was waiting in anxious anticipation for finally arrived. The 2025 NBA Draft Lottery officially went down. The 14 teams that missed the playoffs all watched on hoping they would win big, acquiring the #1 pick. But in the end, the Dallas Mavericks somehow came away seeing those dreams come true, and now the order of the first 14 picks are set in stone. With that being the case, that means it's now time for another mock draft, now that we can actually take into account where teams will be picking. So that is exactly what we are here to do in today's video, and I'll be the first to say that things changed drastically after last night's shenanigans. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting with the first pick in the draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Flagg from Duke. I'll start off by saying it's becoming really difficult to believe the fact that the draft lottery is not rigged. The Mavericks made a horrific trade sending Luka Doncic away this season, and the league knew they were on the verge of losing their fan base for good, so miraculously, they hit the jackpot and now get to build around Flagg to rejuvenate their future. The Mavericks were all in on an injury-plagued core led by Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, and as things stood, their window for contention was closing quickly. Now that Flagg is going to be a Maverick, it makes a hard reset a lot easier to stomach if it comes down the line, and in the short term, it also boosts their odds of potentially making some noise in the playoffs. Flagg is a truly elite two-way talent who embraces physicality, dominates on defense, scores with determination off the dribble, and his shot progressively got better as the season went on, so the Mavericks and their fans seem to have been raised from the dead with one ping pong ball falling their way. Next, with the second pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Dylan Harper from Rutgers. The Spurs also shot way up the order thanks to the ping pong balls, and now, after having no real long-term answer at point guard when they started last season, they now have an abundance of riches at the position. They traded for De'Aaron Fox at the trade deadline, giving them an all-star caliber player to help accentuate Victor Wembanyama's strengths immediately, and long-term, Dylan Harper also absolutely has all-star upside to take the reins next to Wembanyama and right off into the sunset. Harper is a strong-bodied guard that smartly maneuvers the offense, bulldozes defenders driving to the basket, provides excellent court vision and passing talent, and a reliable pull-up jumper helping him take games over. So that type of dog mentality, learning from a player like De'Aaron Fox for a few years, provides an incredibly exciting future for Spurs fans. Next, with the third pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ace Bailey from Rutgers. The 76ers luckily kept their pick thanks to the ping pong balls, but now they have a difficult decision to make. I will be very upfront with all of you. I am a 76ers fan who is not very high on Ace Bailey at all as a prospect, so this is tough to put out, but it does seem as though Bailey is the leader to be the pick at the moment. The 76ers have no reliable options at the power forward position, and Bailey's work as a tough shot maker is going to be difficult to pass on. He does come with some concerns about his overall shot selection, often settling for very low quality contested looks without a demonstrated ability to get to the basket well off the dribble, but he's the best tough shot maker in the draft and he plays a position of need for the team. Next, with the fourth pick, the Charlotte Hornets select VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. At full strength, the Hornets have LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams flashing reasonable upside, so not only does Edgecombe fit in well with that group at shooting guard, but his incredible athletic prowess will also be able to blossom thanks to LaMelo's playmaking and transition play. VJ is a naturally gifted athlete who flashed very promising shot-making skills as the season went on. His three-point shot improved noticeably from start to finish, and as his confidence grew, he took the reins as more of a go-to guy. He's far from a finished product right now, so he will need patience with his development, so in Charlotte, not being rushed for an immediate success right now, that would provide him the exact environment that he could benefit from. Next, with the fifth pick, the Utah Jazz select Kon Knueppel from Duke. The Jazz were the biggest losers of the night after coming in with the worst record in the league and leaving without the ping pong balls, even blessing them with a top 4 pick. In this scenario, they're simply just looking for the best player available, and I truly believe that Kon Knueppel is that guy. He got overshadowed a bit by Flagg at Duke, but he was incredibly integral to the team's success, going at the highest level during their Final Four run. Kon Knueppel is such a smart player on the ball, providing way better playmaking skills than initially thought. He's a crafty player on the ball, getting to his spots and pulling up confidently for jumpers. He's an excellent finisher in the paint, and he's a knockdown three-point shooter who thrives both off the catch and off the dribble. He's a winning player who does the little things that teams need to succeed, and he's not selfish at all, willing to embrace any role asked of him. Next, with the 6th pick, the Washington Wizards select Tre Johnson from Texas. The Wizards are another team that entered the night with real expectations of landing a top pick but got pushed all the way out because the ping pong balls did not fall their way. They're starting to shift their culture a bit with a promising group of young talent right now giving them a starting point, but they're also still very much in the mode where they'll happily be selecting the best player available. Tre Johnson led the SEC in scoring as a freshman this season and is an electric scoring talent from all 3 levels. He put up 20 points per game, hitting 40% of his threes, proving that all of the flash and creativity he provides on the ball don't come at the expense of efficiency, and the Wizards need all the help they can get in this regard. Next, with the 7th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans select Khaman Maluach from Duke. The Pelicans are at a point where they don't really know what their next move is, as the season was a total flop despite being a roster that had the intention of being all in on contention. After sliding to 7, they could take a player with the highest upside in Maluach because of this uncertainty, because even though Maluach has a lot of development needed for him to reach his upside, he's got insane physical tools and intangibles that NBA teams fall in love with. He's a 7-footer with a knack for positioning himself well around the basket. He just desperately needs to work harder on crashing the glass and going after rebounds to improve overall. Next, with the 8th pick, the Brooklyn Nets select Derik from Maryland. The Nets were one of the worst offenses in the league this season, and besides Cam Thomas, they could use help offensively at pretty much every position. Queen is easily the most skilled offensive big man in this year's draft, as an incredibly polished face-up guy with a tight handle that creates a ton of mismatches against slower-footed players at the center position. There are reasonable concerns about his defense at the next level, but offensively, he can immediately contribute to an NBA team. His work in the post is tremendous, he's a promising passer for a center, he sets good hard screens, and even though his three-point shot isn't quite reliable yet consistently, he's shown the work ethic and the willingness to shoot from the outside. He was one of the stars of March Madness this year, and his ability to shine on the biggest stage locked him into the top 10 for me. Next, with the 9th pick, the Toronto Raptors select Murray-Boyles from South Carolina. The Raptors seem to be gearing up to make a run back to the playoffs next season, so if a rookie wants to come in and actually contribute, they need an NBA-ready skill set from day one. Murray-Boyles is just that, as an absolute bulldog of a forward that very well may be the best defensive power forward in the class. He provides the kind of versatility that reigns supreme in today's top NBA teams, plus offensively he operates well off the ball, setting screens, dominating the paint, and finding ways to get the ball in the basket. He's not a very good shooter, so you need to be realistic about what you can expect from a 6'7" big man without a jumper, but even though his ceiling is quite limited, his floor is very high, providing winning impact. Next, with the 10th pick, the Houston Rockets select Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. Fears showed out during March Madness, proving that there's a lot more to judging a player than just looking at their stats and shooting splits. On paper, he wasn't very efficient, but his consistency is definitely something that needs to improve, but the creativity that he possesses with the ball in his hands, his natural ability to create space off the dribble and get to his spots at will, his touch in the paint on tough layups and floaters, and his elite court vision and passing talent can elevate those around him easily. The Rockets could use a natural point guard to spark things after struggling mightily in half-court settings this season, and Fears can help with just that. Next, with the 11th pick, the Portland Trail Blazers select Asa Newell from Georgia. The Blazers have a lot of talent already being developed, so it wouldn't be crazy to see them take a more sure-thing type of talent in Newell instead of some of the more raw, long-term prospects available. Newell protects the rim inside, he's an incredibly smart defender who rotates well and makes up for the mistakes of others around him, he can switch onto the outside, and offensively he has a terrific motor, finding ways to get good looks around the basket. He's your typical pick-and-roll big man lob threat who doesn't shoot the ball much but is reliable when he does without doing too much. Next, with the 12th pick, the Chicago Bulls select Kasparas Jakucionis from Illinois. Jakucionis saw his draft stock dip a little bit at the end of the season after his jumper went through a slump, and his numbers dipped because of it, but overall, scouts are still enamored with the rest of his game to keep him in the lottery range. He's a big guard with incredible passing talent and a natural feel for running a pick and roll. He makes good decisions with the ball, and he's pretty quick for a guy his size too, making it difficult for teams to match up with a defender that can hold their own against him. The difference maker between whether he becomes good or great will ultimately come down to if his shooting slump was just a slump or if it was a worrying sign of what's to come, but there's still plenty of reason for optimism. Next, with the 13th pick, the Atlanta Hawks select Noa Essengue from France. He's yet another Frenchman en route to the NBA as a potential lottery pick, providing intriguing size, versatility, and skill with the physical tools to delve into as well. The Hawks are all in on improving their defense around Trae Young, with Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, and Zachary Risache already fitting the bill there, and Essengue would give them yet another long, quick, skillful defender to throw into the mix, while also supplying Trae with yet another lob threat around the rim. And finally, with the last pick of the lottery, the San Antonio Spurs select Yegor Demin from BYU. The Spurs landed 2 lottery picks after potentially being able to land their point guard of the future earlier with Dylan Harper, so now they can take a swing on incredible upside in Demin. He is a 6'9" guard with ball handling and passing talent like a point guard, the length and quickness to defend multiple positions, and even though his shooting touch went through very poor stretches, teams tend to be willing to work with players on that part of their game if they come with the size, physical tools, basketball IQ, and overall talent that Yegor has. And San Antonio has an outstanding reputation developing guys too to help even more. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below who you want your favorite team to draft. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.